While Elon was hanging out with Trump in the Oval Office, he made these eye-opening comments.
The most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, whoa, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And what do you mean a mine? Like, yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And then the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we take those people and say, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else, and you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way.
That sounds crazy, like something out of Harry Potter, but here's what he clarified on X. 700 plus mine workers operate 230 feet underground to process around 10,000 applications per month, which are stored in manila envelopes and cardboard boxes. The retirement process takes multiple months. To clarify, this mine, Iron Mountain, is a third party that the federal government outsources to. It's essentially a storage facility whose promise lies in its indestructibility and ability to keep important documents at a preservable temperature and environment. Take a look.
There are more than 6 different challenge points before we hit the data center. These challenge points and these extra gates help with security and compliance. The 30-foot thick limestone and 200 feet of stone above the facility lead to natural weather protection, and the ambient temperature of 53 degrees helps the facility remain cool.
We are now in the underground, 220 feet below ground. And this is where vital records are stored. And the key difference for vital records is really the preservation and how long something has to be kept. So the longer you keep something, the more it's going to degrade over time. And the way that you keep that degradation down is through keeping the temperatures cooler and also keep the humidity consistent. Records that are important for long-term preservation. So again, the artwork, the artifacts, historical documents, long-term things like you think about county records, marriage certificates, wills. We have some of those things from dating back to the mid-1800s that are in here.
Tom Benjamin took us into our next vault, and it felt like that scene in Raiders. Shelves after shelves of boxes.
Lots of historical records, lots of county records, lots of federal government records.
It's almost impossible to wrap your mind around the size of this place. I mean, this vault alone is 25,000 square feet. There are 15 of them just like this, and they haven't even developed the entire mine.
You think about California, you have earthquakes, you have fires. You think about Florida, you have humidity, you have hurricanes. All of these things are horrible for unique artifacts of vital records that having them have a problem is not acceptable. So this is the place where those kinds of things should come.
Iron Mountain certainly has its place for rich clients with important, delicate stuff, but hiring documents for federal employees? Do we really need this?
We do business with the majority of the motion picture film studios in California.
So they store the original movies with you?
Correct. The original negatives are stored in here at this low temperature and low relative humidity to extend the life of the collection.
Confidentiality means unmarked door after unmarked door as you roll through the mountain. And there are lots of doors. Ann Hartman took us into the refrigerator that houses the Corbis Image Collection owned by Bill Gates.
27 million mixed prints, negatives, glass plates, and slides. Royalty from all around the world is in these print files here.
Historic shots are commonplace here, including this 1932 lunch atop a skyscraper and its glass negative that had an unfortunate spill.
It had been scanned, but it was dropped, so you can see that it's broken.
Iconic shots of legends and their original negatives, including the historic Rosa Parks on the bus and other shots from that day.